Personal protective equipment for hostile environments. A primer on gas masks, ballistic vests, helmets, hearing protection, and other protective gear with Michael Brochstein. What are hostile environments? They include violent demonstrations, law enforcement ride-alongs, non-stable or unsafe areas, and certainly conflict or war zones. Who is the target audience for this presentation? They include journalists, non-governmental organization staff, and others who may find themselves in hostile environments. The author is a photojournalist. It is through his experiences covering things such as the insurrection at the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021, and covering the war in Ukraine that educated the author and who is now sharing what he's learned with you. Here are the topics we will cover during this presentation. I'll give you a moment to read them through. Full disclosure, the author, that's me, has no financial interest in any of the items, vendors, or websites mentioned. Let's talk about gas mask filters, and decontamination wipes. Gas masks are designed to protect you against some combination of chemical, biological, radiological, and/or nuclear gaseous threats. An abbreviation for these four threats is CBRN, very commonly used. Here's a typical gas mask. Note the filter on the bottom left. We'll talk about that in a second. The filter attaches to one of three areas on the port. On this particular gas mask, there are three ports to attach the gas mask filter. Bottom, where there's a cap on it right now in this photo, and the bottom left and bottom right. The reason for the three different ports is because it may be more convenient, according to what you're doing while wearing a gas mask, to have the gas mask filter on one side and or the bottom. Notice inside the gas mask is a pair of eyeglasses. These are prescription eyeglasses, but what's unusual is the frame is not a normal frame. It's a frame designed for this gas mask. A normal eyeglass frame has two side pieces called temples that run from the frame to your ear. Unfortunately, as they run from your frame to your ear, if you're wearing a gas mask, they will break the seal of the gas mask against your face and could potentially let in gas that you don't want let in. So these frames are made with very short temples so that they don't go back far enough to break the seal. And these frames are designed to mount in the gas mask, since obviously your ears are not going to be able to hold the frames in place. Different companies will put prescription eyeglass lenses into a frame that you send them, and nothing special about that. Here's a close-up of the filter. It uses a NATO standard 40 millimeter thread. The good thing about this is that most gas masks and most gas mask filters all use the same standard, which means you could buy a filter from any vendor, and it should fit almost any gas mask. Note that contact lenses and tear gas are a very bad combination. Wearing them while being in the presence of tear gas, you may not only experience increased pain, your eyes might be damaged. And as a friend who served in the military told me, he was informed that contact lenses could melt to your eyeballs with tear gas around. So don't wear them if you get a potential of tear gas. So what do you do if you have prescription eyeglasses and your eyes need corrected? One is, if you have a very mild prescription, maybe you don't need to wear them that day if you think you'll be in presence of tear gas. Another possibility is obviously contact lenses. Well, we talked about that. Bad idea. Third one is to get special gas mask eyeglass frames. Here is a close-up of those frames. As you can see, the side pieces, the temples, are very short. And as I said before, various vendors, you can send them a pair of frames and they will put your prescription eyeglasses into the frames. Nothing special about it. They do this all the time. If you get tear gas or other irritants on you, there are special wipes to wipe this irritant off you and hopefully make it less uncomfortable that you were sprayed with it to begin with. In any case, here's an example of one that was highly recommended to me. Do read the instructions on the back carefully, especially when it comes to using these wipes anywhere near your eyes. Here's a picture of a gas mask with a filter attached, bottom right, and we'll talk about in a second, a non-ballistic helmet. Note the knob on the back, how you adjust it. The non-ballistic helmet is really just a skateboard or inline skating helmet. So a few notes about gas masks. Facial hair can compromise a gas mask seal. So beards will possibly make it so that gas mask can't seal against your face and therefore let gas in. Condensation when wearing gas mask can indicate a bad seal. Practice using your gas mask with equipment like a camera. You may find you need to have the filter attached on the left or the right, not the center, or maybe the center, but you won't know until you practice. There is a limited quantity of air available through a gas mask. Don't expect to be able to run. Imagine you're at a very high altitude and you're short of breath. Similar idea. Test to seal the gas mask. Do it by plugging up the ports so that no air can get into the gas mask. And you try breathing in and seeing if you seem to get any fresh air. Bad seal means gas can get in. And lastly, practice putting on the mask. In an emergency, you need to do it quickly, and it's something you need to practice a few times until you can do it smoothly. Let's talk about non-ballistic helmets and bump caps. The cheapest and easiest way to protect your head from being bumped or if someone hits you on it is something called a bump cap. It's designed for people who work in areas where they might bump their heads, a low area, an area with low ceilings. It's the couple advantages. It's cheap, inexpensive, readily available, Amazon, etc. And it could be easily worn below a hat, meaning people won't know you had it on. Next step up in protection would be something like an inline skating or skateboard helmet. Here's an example of one. Someone hits you over the head with something, it will protect your head, obviously only up to a point. It certainly is not ballistic protection. Bullet will go through it, but it's certainly better than a bump cap or not protecting your head at all. Here, back to the same picture again, the non-ballistic helmet on the left, just a regular skateboard inline skating helmet, and notice a knob on the back, which is how you adjust the fit of it to your head, just like a regular inline skating or skateboard helmet, which this is in fact is. Picture was taken on January 6th at the US Capitol. A journalist had brought these in, figuring he may need these. Let's talk about protection against bullets. There are standard levels of protection, which most vendors who make manufacturers who make products in this area use. So you'll easily be able to reference these standards, level 3A, 3, and 4. Level 3A will protect against bullets from handguns. Level 3 will protect against assault rifles such as AK-47s, and level 4 protect against armor-piercing bullets. Just note that ballistic doesn't mean bulletproof. You could wear a level 3 plate and it'll protect you against a hit from an AK-47, but if that AK-47 fires at your plate many times, it may eventually compromise the plate. Let's talk about ballistic vests, plate carriers, and plates. Here is a picture of President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine wearing a plate carrier, a camouflage colored plate carrier. Note he's wearing it at the correct height, not too low. A plate carrier with a plate is meant to protect your vital organs. You can see there's a lot of him that is not protected. That's just the way these are designed to protect your whole body. You probably should be in an armored vehicle. This is a picture of a pair of plates that the U.S. Army at one time issued to soldiers. Plates generally come in 3 sizes: 10 by 12 inches, 11 by 14 inches, or 6 by 6. 6 by 6 for the side compartments. 10 by 12 is by far the most common size that plates and plate carriers are designed for. Here's a picture of a typical plate. This is a 10 by 12 inch plate. This is a level 3 plate, weighs roughly 3.3 pounds. The level 4 version of this plate is 5.2 pounds. Why would you get one that's less protective as opposed to one that's more protective? One, it's less expensive. And number 2, it weighs less. So a pair of level 4 plates, you need one front, one back, will weigh about 4 pounds more than wearing a pair of level 3 plates. So you have to make your own decision, well, how much protection you need, as well as how much you want to spend. The plates, besides being on the top, sort of being cut so that it could better fit your body and won't get in the way of your arms, etc., are also curved to conform to your body. Avoid steel plates. If a bullet hits a steel plate, not only they could splatter, and the shrapnel from the splatter, from the sort of the shredding and deflection of the bullet, could hit you in other parts of your body. Also, steel plates are heavier. Here's the back of a typical plate. None of these are steel of the ones I'm showing you now. And you can see it's curved on the top, contoured on the top, and it's curved. Plate carriers, basically generally just cloth, heavy cloth, comes in different colors. Usually with a compartment front and back for plates, and on the side for side plates. Comes in different colors: green, black, coyote, which is the color, the name they've given to beige or tan. Plate carriers, navy, and camouflage, and different patterns of camouflage. Here is a typical plate carrier, has compartments front and back for 10 by 12 inch plates, as well as on the side for 6 by 6 plates. Note the hook and loop areas that here there's a press patch on it, which can also be removed when it's advantageous to do that. And as you can see from the buckles on top, it's an adjustable length top to adjust to many different body types. There is no real small, medium, or large generally. It's just adjusting all the ways that all these kind of buckles and the straps. If you take off the side panel straps, because you're not wearing 6 by 6 plates, which the side panel, the cloth, doesn't protect you against very much, so there's no point in having it. And below that is generally this 3-inch wide nylon belt with a buckle. And by taking off the side compartments that hold the panels that hold plates, these belts and buckles make it much easier to take on and take off. But if you're wearing side plates, this is not an option. Another type of ballistic protection is called soft armor. Before, we've been talking about hard armor, rigid plates. Soft armor is flexible up to a point cloth, which is which provides ballistic protection. This is a soft armor vest that provides level 3A protection, meaning against handguns. You'll notice it covers a larger area of your body and can be and bends. It is what people who might be doing private security might wear if they're wearing a suit below the shirt on the suit, so it's less obvious that they're wearing a ballistic vest. The vest, as you can see here, covers a lot more of your body and can bend around to your sides. It also provides a certain amount of protection against a knife attack. They also take, by the way, plates if you want to add more protection. The reason why, if you're going to wear plates, you might according to your situation, if you wear plates, that's another 6.6 pounds. In addition to this vest is 4 to 5 pounds. It's heavier. So generally, if you just want protection, most people who will just use a plate carrier or the soft armor, which is less obvious. But in some circumstances, maybe you need both. Let's talk about ballistic helmets. Here is a soldier in Ukraine wearing a full cut or low cut ballistic helmet. Note that the vest he's wearing, the plate carrier he's wearing, is too low on him. I don't know where it is on the front, but on the back, it's too low. Note there's 2 other types of helmet. This is a full cut or low cut because it covers your ears. And there's also mid and high cut, which we'll talk about. Here's a side view of a full cut helmet, covers the ears. Note above where your ears might be is what's called a rail, a side rail. You see the notches. There are things you can mount in here, which we'll talk about in a minute. And and one advantage besides more protection to your ears, side of your face, is that maybe in the cold weather it's a little warmer. It certainly is excellent wind protection. Wind is certainly not penetrating a ballistic helmet. Here is a example of a high cut helmet. Again, another soldier in Ukraine. Doesn't cover the ears. Note the side rails and light sort of a beige plastic. Helmets generally run from levels 3A through 4. Most are level 3A. This is a high cut helmet. There's the rail and black on black we're seeing. Note the press patch on the hook and loop patches. Attached to the side rail here is a bracket. It's rotated towards the right, and it's holding hearing protection, which we'll talk about in a little while. And there's a wire running out the top, what's now the top of that hearing protection. You could also on the side rail mount microphones if you have a 2-way radio or a flashlight. The front of most helmets has an NVG mount, a night vision goggles mount. Alternatively, action cameras such as GoPros, you can get mounts to put them here, and also headlamps. Inside a ballistic helmet, there are generally 2 types of ways that there's padding and ways of fitting to your head. This is one type, which are individual pads, which are attached to the helmet using hook and loop fasteners. You can buy alternative pad sets, such as from Amazon, that have different thicknesses, so you can fine tune exactly the fit of the helmet to your head. The other type uses a rotary knob, similar to the way bike helmets or inline skating or skateboard helmets might be, as a way to adjust a helmet to your head. Personally, I like these better, but plenty of people wear both types. And, I'm not saying one is better than the other. Note here, there's the hearing protection we'll talk about in a little while. And you can see the wire now running across the bottom around the back of the helmet. Here's an example of a headlamp attached to the helmet. Here is a picture close-up of the headlamp. This headlamp also could, in addition to having white light, also has red among other colors, which can be useful at night. Side view, this is with the bracket that attaches it to the helmet. If you don't use the bracket, you can put a strap here and it will work like any headlamp on your head. What color vest or helmet to buy? I asked a bunch of people before I bought mine, and everyone had a different opinion. So first, what are the options? Black, navy, coyote, green, camouflage, different patterns, etc. You can also get helmet covers that can cover your helmet and change the color. We'll show you that in a minute. Why would you want one color over the other? Well, you might want to blend in. You're embedded with a military unit or as police, and you don't want to stand out. Alternatively, you want to stand out. You don't want people to shoot at you. You think that by standing out, you won't be shot at or attacked. So you might want something that stands out. If you're in a hot environment, in open sun, a light color may be cooler. Or you just may want a color that you think just won't attract attention. Let's talk about eye protection. There are various standards for how glasses how much they will hold up if something hits them. So the consumer standard is called ANSI Z87.1. This is the standard most safety glasses have to meet. And it's a very specific standard. A steel ball hitting it at a certain force will not break the glasses. Military has two standards. U.S. military has two standards. And as you can see from the definition of the second type of standard here, it's a much higher standard. Note that these aren't bulletproof. These aren't bulletproof. Glasses are not, none of these glasses are bulletproof. They're simply, when hit with something, shrapnel, something won't shatter or break as easily as glasses that don't offer these levels of protection. So there's different ways of getting this. You can off the shelf, if you don't need prescription eyeglasses, you can buy clear eyeglasses, sunglasses, goggles. If you wear prescription eyeglasses, you can easily get ANSI Z87.1 standard eyeglass lenses and frames. You could also wear goggles over your eyeglasses, the goggles being mil spec or some spec. You can get a face shield that meets the level of protection you want and wear them over your glasses. Or you can get dual lens frames where the outer frames provide the protection you want, but the inner frames are really your eyeglass prescription. Alternatively, you can get, as I skipped over, the overspec frames, which I'll show you in a second. So here's a set of frames that meet safety, at least ANSI and possibly for the frames mil spec protection. The actual lenses are just ANSI level lenses. The US military, for instance, is my understanding, if you wear prescription eyeglasses, they don't expect the actual lens to be mil spec because you have so many different possible formulas for someone's prescription. One can't test every single prescription because you have so many different thicknesses of the lenses in different areas. So they understand that's reality. And as I spoke about before, there's other ways to get the mil spec level of protection while wearing regular eyeglass, a regular eyeglass pair of eyeglasses. Note that these frames do not have side protection. Wraparound glasses might, and there are other ways of getting this. This is a pair of overspec shooting glasses. These meet military specs. You wear these over your eyeglasses. Note that if you have very large eyeglass frames, which at least as of when I'm creating this presentation are stylish, these are not large enough to cover those large styles. Let's talk about hearing protection. Hearing loss, can be permanent and non-reversible. So obviously important to protect your hearing. The most common way of doing this is buying in-ear hearing protection, such as these kind of earplugs. Note the cords, they make it easier to pull them out of your ears and so you don't lose it, you won't get stuck in your ear. And if you momentarily take them out of your ears, you can wear them, the cord around your neck, and not lose the individual earplugs. Here is an example of over-the-ear hearing protection. This is the tan cover over a black helmet, which I was speaking about the covers before. Note this person's wearing safety glasses, most likely shooting glasses. The side rail, the black side rail, you notice in the back of it on the left is a bracket that attaches to it. The bracket then attaches to over-the-ear hearing protection. And these brackets generally have multiple positions, in and out, in being pressed against your ear being out when you don't need it. And they also rotate so the hearing protection is not at all near your ear. This person's wearing hearing protection. Generally, hearing protection, over-the-ear hearing protection like this comes sort of like a headphone, like somebody who's going to go out and practice shooting. But to attach it to a helmet, you have to break the headpiece, but not cut the wire. It's a little tricky. This person's wearing it wrong. By wearing it over the hat, it doesn't seal well against his head. So he's not getting as much hearing protection as he would had he put the headphones, these sort of headphone style over-the-ear hearing protection on first and then the hat above that. So if you have a regular pair of over-the-ear hearing protection, earphone, headphone style, whatever, hearing protection, put them on first, put the hat on over it. This is what a typical pair out of the box looks like. Note there are two types of over-the-ear hearing protection, passive and active. Passive is just like a regular pair of headphones. They go over your ear and they provide a certain amount of sound attenuation from whatever's outside. An active pair has a microphone. It's battery powered and it will let in sound. But if it hears a loud sound like a gunshot, it will turn off the microphone and stop the signal, the sound signal from reaching your ear. So you can wear these over your ears. You can have normal conversations at normal volume, but anytime there's a loud sound, your ear will not hear them because the electronics react quick enough to shut down the sound coming in. So this is what it looks like out of the box with the headpiece. Note the wires that attaches from the far right to the far left sides. You have to attach them to a ballistic helmet or any helmet. You have to break the headpiece. Don't cut the wire accidentally for when you're going to attach these to your helmet. Here's a pair, the same kind of hearing protection where it's attached to a bracket, which is attached to a side rail on a helmet. Note that the bracket is not the same bracket that comes with the headpiece. It's a special bracket designed for this over-the-ear hearing protection. There are different brackets for different types of over-the-ear hearing protection. The wire coming out on the right side of that over-the-ear hearing protection goes out to the right around the back. I'm using some little Velcro patch to route it around the back of the helmet. And as I said, when you do this, you destroy the headpiece. So it's a one-way solution. You don't expect to be able to ever attach it back to the headpiece, which you will have broken to extract the over-the-ear hearing protection. So here's a side view. What's interesting to note about this is that you can more easily see this bracket has two positions. One is out and one is in. The in would be pressing against your head to protect your ears from sound. The other is an out position, and that would keep the hearing protection about 1 inch from your ear, which you might do when you're not needing the protection. It's a little cooler and easy, obviously better to hear than just through the microphone and built-in electronics, which work very well. I have used this and it works well, but it is better just to hear straight without it. Here's a side view again. You can, and this is to review, you see the side rail, the bracket, the over-the-ear hearing protection, the wire, it's rotated to the back. Upside down, you can now see again the rotary knob to adjust the size of the helmet. You can now, same picture again, you can see the wire that's running around the back of the helmet from one side to the other. When I travel, the in position with no head stopping it from pushing in the hearing protection will be quite over the helmet like this, takes up less space, less likely to get damaged while in transit. Note the wires on the left and right that go around the back of the helmet. Let's talk about first aid kits. Hopefully you'll never need one, but better to have it. Almost everybody near a front line does have it because you're near the front lines. This is a typical first aid kit. The only thing I added besides the second cross patch to say it's a first aid kit was a blood type patch. NKA means no known allergies. If you want to look for the appropriate style kits, first you want a kit that must have a tourniquet. If it doesn't have a tourniquet, it's not the right kind of kit oriented towards the kind of injuries that we're worried about in the hostile environment. So you want a kit that comes with a tourniquet. And if you want to find some examples, just Google IFAK kit. IFAK is the standard abbreviation for individual first aid kit. Here's the inside of this particular kit. The tourniquet is located top middle. Some people carry it outside the kit on their person somehow, so it's faster access than opening the kit. Kit has many items in it. Some are shown here and others are inside compartments. Blood type patches. They come in all sorts of sizes and designs. You can get them through Amazon. As I said before, NKA means no known allergies. You could also NKD, as in David A, NKDA meaning no known drug allergies. The bottom patch is a style that you might see in a place like Ukraine because Warsaw Pact countries had a different way of delineating blood type. So Roman numeral 2 means A, Roman numeral 1 means O. This patch, which I saw regularly in Ukraine, has both types, the A plus as well as the Roman numeral 2. Press patches, all comes in all sizes. You can get these from Amazon and other places, all sizes. Wear a helmet, vest, backpack, wherever, put them on when you think you want to be identified as press. Take them off when you don't want people to readily know you're a press. Could make you a target, or it could help you get through places because it identifies you as press. Training, important. There are two standard types of training available for people working in hostile environments. One is called HEAT, Hostile Environment Awareness Training, and the other is called HEFAT, Hostile Environment and Emergency First Aid Training. I recommend the latter, HEFAT training. I took a 3-day class. 3 days is a typical length for this class, and I highly recommend it. During the class, there were exercises, and this place that was running HEFAT training put up this sign outside so that people driving by wouldn't think there's a real problem and they would call the police when it's really just a play acting, more or less. I did find one book. I read a couple that would be sort of like a HEFAT class, a little bit, not really anything near as good. But if you want to read a book that covers some of the material, this is a book I found that I thought worth recommending. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Happy to answer them. And this presentation is based on an article I wrote and I posted online for free. Here is the URL to that presentation. I'll leave this up for a second. Again, thank you for listening to this presentation. Have a great rest of your day or evening.